As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
One of the worst performances of my career, and they never doubted it for a second.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
I believe there's a hero in all of us that keeps us honest, gives us strength, makes us noble.
You just gotta keep living, man. Livin.
Son of a bitch. He stole my life.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Welcome back to the Shot by Shot podcast, where we are talking probably the most relevant thing that's happened in film in 2026, which is the release of Backrooms and Obsession a bit as well, because I feel like you can't really speak about one without the other right now, because they've both been huge in the box office. Two horror movies that have both passed 100 million already. Backrooms passing 126 million worldwide in its opening weekend, which is crazy. If you told someone at the start of the year that would happen, I don't think they'd believe you, even though that there was a fair amount of hype behind this movie being the internet sensation. But Ken Parsons being 20 years old, with his directorial debut, and Carrie Barker 26, is kind of a depressing stat, but it's also kind of exciting at the same time. So we're going to talk about Backrooms and the kind of cultural relevance of horror that's been like happening the last 10 years. Oscar, what did you think about Backrooms?
Do you know what? So I was fairly mixed when I came out of it. Like I think I just about liked it overall, but like when did I see it? What, last Friday? And it's been staying with me ever since then. It's just been growing and growing on me, even more, which I find rare with a lot of contemporary horrors. But it's a film that's far from perfect. Like it has its glaring failures, but I think its positives are something that I wouldn't necessarily expect. I wasn't necessarily expecting when I was going into it, honestly. I know it's kind of a cliche thing to say, but I think out of all those kind of YouTube guys, he is by far the person that shows the most promise and whose work I'm most looking forward to seeing next. I've been watching a few interviews as well, and he's such a well-spoken guy. Watched the one on The Big Picture they did with Sean, which I thought was quite good. And I've watched like 2/3 of the web series, which is good as well. But no, it's a really fascinating film, overall, more than anything.
Yeah, I immediately really enjoyed it, and I was quite excited for this because I'm familiar with the web series. I've not sat and watched it all because it's insane the output he has, because he's done Backrooms on YouTube, and I think it's probably, I've not looked, it's probably like tens of hours long, all in Blender, and then he's done another horror series as well. And obviously they've greenlit a sequel already, and he's looking for someone to co-write it with, which is good because I think this is at its best when it's doing the spectacle that he's like comfortable with. It's such a strong opening. It really sets the mood and the tone for the rest of the film. And aside from the scenes where they're sort of exploring the place, when the boyfriend and the co-workers get killed, is really strong. Anything with like the VHS effect is really quite potent horror. I think the Christmas tree scene especially, that's some good stuff, some good scary stuff. And then ironically, the more it tries to reveal about itself, I think the less competent the filmmaking becomes. Not to say it's an incompetent film, but I think the narrative is a little bit, I'd say, surprising. I did not expect it to go the directions it's going, and I was quite worried it would jump the shark during that dinner table scene. But now, the more I thought about it and the symbolism, obviously, it's representative of is it Clark, his name, as a character? Yes, it's obviously representative of him as a character and the things he's been saying in therapy. And then there's some interesting things to say about Renate Renzi's character, because she's like excellent in the film, but I've seen a lot of people raise the point that maybe this is a better film without her, and I'm sort of leaning towards that might be the case. But because I feel like at some points it is more focused on this quite weaker dynamic between the two than it is the spectacle itself. Because, like I said, it's so good at the spectacle. But I think there's enough there for a sequel, and I always thought that'd be the case with the way it ends. But I did not expect it to be picked up so soon. But I suppose the way Backrooms and Obsession are projected at the box office, it's not really a surprise.
I think it's interesting what you say about Renata Reinsberg, because I think this is maybe her worst performance. I think, I don't know.
Yeah, but
I
comparatively
wasn't...
to everything else she's in, she's like great.
I
in
know,
everything.
but true. But I didn't even think she was good in this.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought she
I
was.
agree,
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought she was fine. I don't think she was bad.
And I think from this you can tell that he doesn't like or necessarily know how to direct dialogue. Yeah, I think the kind of scenes where it's just standard coverage is extremely plain and extremely bare. And you can tell he's just so much more at home with the found footage and the space inside the Backrooms environment.
Yeah, the film does kind of stagnate in these like talky therapy sessions that happen in between. I much preferred this like found footage style, which is, from what I can guess, that's kind of mostly what the shorts are like.
It's
Oh
basically
yeah,
all that. Yeah.
pretty much all of it. The
Yeah,
web
I've only
series-
seen the first one.
It is genuinely worth it. It's like it's fairly cryptic, but there is a like a bit of an overarching narrative. I think it's all of it's like 3 hours long, but no, it is. I think it's worth it, and I don't think it's as it delves more into the ambience than anything. Like I am like 2/3 in, and like the monsters that we see is in like a couple, and you like barely see them at all. They're like distant stick figures. Like the one you see the most is the one in the original the one in the first short that he did. But yeah,
And the film is like canon to that.
yes,
which
it
makes
is. It
interesting.
is. It is. The film is like, I guess, the next entry into that. And I think it's interesting the style progression, because I know we said it works best when it's kind of conformed to what he knows. But I think I like this progression of style in a sense that the series is taking. I think you know you can. I don't think it's the best thing to just leave it in that kind of complete found footage format, and I like this shift. And I saw him doing an interview. He's talking about kind of how to progressing in this, and like the obsession with lore in a lot of like horror series, and how it's like filmmakers have just tend to listen to the fans about lore and stuff, and how he really doesn't want to do that. So yeah, for a 20-year-old, I think he is incredibly well spoken, and he seems quite knowledgeable. So yeah.
Yeah, because there's a world where this is like Five Nights at Freddy's, and it's just full of lore
Hey.
and Easter eggs everywhere,
Exactly.
and it's a horrible time. But this is
Exactly.
really, I was really surprised at how little it kind of holds your hands at the start. Like for a kind of like studio horror, it's a lot of it's like there's no talking for, I don't even know how long, that whole opening sequence, and then really until you get to the therapy sessions, it's kind of far away from being a movie.
Yeah.
Well, I bet he had the most leverage any 20-year-old has ever had on set, because he's got these like hours of like content about the world he's building. And I got the impression that like obviously he cared about the writing and the conflict between the two main characters and all that, but I feel like it was only there to justify a film's existence, because I feel like really he will have wanted to do a bigger budget like version of his YouTube videos, like where it's almost entirely, I think people would have loved like if it was entirely the opening, or entirely, maybe even better if it's like the Clark scene with the co-workers stretched out a little bit more, because I do think those are the strongest parts of the film. But the things with like the still lives that they call them, I think they were well designed. First of all, like the effects were
agree.
cool, the costumes, and I kind of liked where it was going. I don't think they fully like go into it much, but even though I was criticizing the writing, I think some of the like main lines that people keep quoting are really good. Like the more it remembers something, the less it does, is like a really cool way of explaining how it functions. And then you see that shot, I know it's in the trailer, but it's slightly different in the film, where it seems to be copying rooms over and over again, but like in descending, and it becomes more and more abstract.
Yeah.
That was really good. And then the one where it's like, imagine describing a dog to someone who's never seen one before and then getting them to draw it. That was like another cool way of like visualizing how the Backrooms sort of understands, and it isn't made clear in the film if it's, I'm not sure because I've not seen all the whole series or anything, but it's not really made clear if it's man-made, if it has been found by this company that are so like prevalent at the end. So it definitely leaves people with questions, and I know some people who've seen it were quite frustrated that it ended, which is quite a high praise because people wanted to be like in this world longer. I definitely did. I'm actually quite excited for a sequel, which I normally don't say.
I am too. No, I think it's I think I think this film kind of served as they want to see this 20-year-old they want to see this 20-year-old succeed, but they don't want to give him like too much power, like too much trust just yet. But I think now that they've seen, I think the next film they're going to give him that more trust. And because I think he was originally meant to write it, because it was originally conceptualized, I think the first meetings were like back in 2022 when he was 16. But then the actor strike happened, so everything was kind of put on hold. But yeah, I hope with the next that we can go even further with that. Hey, let him have a hand in the scripts. Let him have a hand in the edit. I think it's cool that he co-scores the music. I know he does for all of his own stuff. I think he did it with, I know Osgood Perkins was producing, but I think the co-composer is the guy who does the scores for his films.
I think most of Osgood Perkins' crew was working on this as well.
Yeah, the DP. I think this film looked pretty good, to be honest. There's those kind of fake clouds and hills behind the store, a really nice touch that you see in the kind of exterior shots, and
Danny Vermette was also Osgood's production designer. I think that's like the highlight of the movie, obviously. The actual
yes, Jeremy
part.
Cox, DP. He was DP on The Keeper, but he hadn't done anything else. He's done Mile and Kicks, which I know some of you have seen. I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
I thought this was I thought this looks pretty good as well. Kane has a very good grasp on space. There's some nice compositions in here, especially kind of the more darker corners and things like that, and some genuinely scary moments. I agree with Daniel. I think I like this film being immaterial and more unknown based. So I think when the creature feature moved towards the end, as it starts to kind of reveal itself, I think it does wane slightly. But I think the dining table scene is one that I keep on coming back to. The kind of riff on the scene in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I think it's a really interesting, more metatextual than people might realize, as it's kind of like the Backrooms and the director both like remembering this film, and like this is a representation of the film now as it's been filtered through memory, and like it's landed here. And I think that this film has a more interesting commentary on how AI functions as well, with generative AI, with the kind of still lifes and the way that memory is similar to the way that generative AI works. But yeah, I think the thing with memory in this, from what I know about memory, is that you only remember something from the last time you remembered it, rather than from the original moment, which I think is what this film is going for. So I thought that was quite an interesting visualization in this. And yeah, that opening scene is crazy good, and I think that chase sequence in the middle is, when just him going through all the different environments, is so cool. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, with the AI thing as well. Like, obviously, the more it creates, the more it degrades. And we were having a conversation yesterday where I was like, all this AI stuff, art that people put out, it all looks the same, and it gets worse because it's all copying from each other. So it's just like regenerating the same thing over and over again. Yeah, I know he said in an interview he was definitely trying to touch on AI, like, intentionally. And with the memory thing, it's quite funny seeing a 90s set film. We're at this point of our lives now where, like, people around our age are making, like, full films for studios, and we've got people setting films in the 90s and they weren't even born, like, then. So we've got, like, his own vision of, like, this abstract version of the 90s. Because, like you said, there's, like, I like how everything feels liminal, sort of reflects how miserable these people are in their lives. Like the Windows XP background looking thing behind the Ottoman Empire store, and then it's really beige. All the clothes are quite beige. There was that little set with the houses, both inside the Backrooms, and then when he goes over to get his co-workers to film it, it's really uncanny looking. And yeah, I don't know. It's just, I think it's smarter than I give it credit for. 'Cause the more I think about it, the more, like, interpretations I can come up with. Like, things with the Clark's still life, clearly a reflection of his family life. Like I said earlier in that dining room scene, like, I think that's quite clearly supposed to be his wife, that female.
Oh
still
yeah,
alive.
it is. Yeah, it is.
And the fact that she's, like, so afraid of the Clark, like, that's a really cool scene where she's running in the corner and trying to, like, squeeze through the gap.
That scared me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I don't know what that little guy's deal is on there for the lamp. But, like, he was like, "Oh yeah, there's just some dude out there who has a wheelchair and a lamp." But yeah, but I like the fact that, like, you can interpret as Clark comes to a realization of his flaws, because of Renata's, like, speech she gives, and then Clark still life suddenly sees him as a threat and, like, attacks him. That's quite cool. But yeah, I'm glad. I don't know. I'm kind of glad it did something new with the monsters in that, because even in the original 4chan post it's based on, there's an implication there's monsters, and I don't think you can make a feature film where there's no monsters. So I'm just glad it wasn't like a stick man. I know it's done in a way that's atmospheric in the YouTube videos. So I'm glad it wasn't just like a generic stick man monster, and it did have a link to the narrative.
I think I saw someone say that the original Backrooms monsters look like Skibidi toilet characters.
They do.
Get that out of my head. It's such a stupid thing, but I do agree. But no, the bit with Renata where we get to the moment, it's just like the massive drop in the middle. It's really cool. It's just overall, it's a production marvel as a whole. I think it's and it's not just a film that has, like, massive production, but it generally does use all of it to great effect. And I want to see some behind the scenes of this, because I've seen, like, some photos of the sets.
Have you seen the videos of them, like, walking through the sets and how uncanny it looks? It looks
no.
It looks like the CG,
feet,
like, in the film it looks normal, but when you see them with, like, camera crews walking around, it looks like they've been CG'd into this, like, environment. It's so weird looking. And I've seen the overhead shot, like, of the roof of, like, all this square meters of Backrooms. It looks so good. It's so good.
I heard lots of people got lost. All the actors got lost, and Kane got lost. The crew got lost, and there was I think Renata was talking about the scene with the swimming pool, where that kind of middle chase sequence ends, where he's, like, putting his hand up against the wall that the girl on the other side is glass. And I think she said that was like the actors' cool meet room, and then, like, she just had to be asked to be taken out of there because she didn't like it. Yeah, but I do want to see some behind the scenes of this, and I actually saw the lighting that they used for those outside sequences. They're like massive floaty inflatable light things, which I'd never seen those before.
That was really cool.
I remember seeing some behind the scenes of that last year, thinking like those were going to be something in there, but no, that's just lighting, and yeah, that was crazy. I wonder where those have come from. I think.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was gonna just say like the design of the backrooms is like it is interesting getting these like unique ideas from kind of people our age because they're more like I feel like these guys are more pulling from like video games rather than movies.
This is
very
very
yeah.
This is very video game-y. It plays out a lot like a video game, but not in a bad way. I think it's one of the films that utilizes the physical mechanics of a video game really well, rather than narratively. And it's honestly nice to see that. It is cool.
Horrors.
Yeah, because I've seen people say like this is like Lynch, but I feel like it's more like he's pulling from stuff that was probably inspired by Lynch. Like I don't know if Portal 2 actually like used the Black Lodge as like influence initially for those. He's obviously pulling from like Portal 2 and that kind of like minimalist, like clean design of rooms and structures and stuff.
Him saying that he basically grew up in the Black Lodge because of his divorced dad. It was a massive Twin Peaks fan. Just turned his house into the Black Lodge.
Yeah,
So
Miguel also said
funny.
he's never actually seen it though, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah.
I think the only like half resembling Lynchian thing I can say in this is the small guy. That's like the only thing that I could maybe say
kind
was
like the Americana and like the like evil underneath it, but
that is true actually. I feel like there's some times where I feel like I'm giving directors too much credit for things that I'm seeing, but genuinely I thought this is really impressive, and the found footage stuff, like the shaky cam is such an easy thing to make seem tacky as well. It's like it's a real signature of like young debutantes in like a bad way. But I thought this was both like chaotic in a controlled way. Very impressive.
The seagull adds so much like eerie ambience to it. It's so I think in one of the YouTube videos, a car falls into the back rooms from what I've seen. So they were kind of lucky they had a permanently open like space in the wall, because in the videos like people just fall into them, they like trip and just fall and then they can't really get back out. I think like the horrors, like the internet and like COVID, because obviously Kane would have been like mid to late teens during COVID. I feel like you're more exposed to homogenized horror content and you're exposed to more. So everyone, like, because of that, a lot of people know the Backrooms. I say it's very popular. Even before he made the series, it was quite a popular post, even though it was just a random 4chan post. And there's so many different interpretations of it. His is definitely the best because it's real slop. If you go look,
there is half of my experience of the backroom stuff is just those TikTok, the bits you get sent on TikTok. Where it's like here's from the backroom series,
head
like, here's a playground, a soft player in a liminal space. It's got like a ball pit.
Is that's not from his stuff? Is that just
no, not at all. And then the water slide stuff as well. that's the other ones that I usually get. No, his stuff is a lot more controlled. You get those like stupid ones that are like, here's levels to the backrooms, and it's so bad. But I do like the stuff that touches on like the swimming pools and things like that. Because those are creepy. And I think it's interesting you were saying, Daniel, about being when was he born? 2005, and making things about the 90s. I think this like late 90s digital low fidelity aesthetic is so fascinating to me. It's one of my favorite subsections in film. It's like end of millennium dread and chaos, and I think it's interesting that he's made a film on this. And in a sense, I think, but I think the period he's making about millennials is like the biggest doubters in a say of people like him and Gen Z and things like that. So to make a film on that, I think is quite a statement and even more impressive. And I think the ending as well, like for a studio project, it honestly seems quite a ballsy ending to make something like that, and it's been growing on me ever since. But yeah, great ending.
I think people our age love the idea of the early internet because depending on your age, I was on the internet like probably too young, but I want to say like 2011, so I was like 8 is when I started looking, and then like 2015 is when I started using it to how I'd probably use it now. But I think it's like comes with a fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
The early internet was a weird place. It's still a weird place, but the early internet was like Wild West. Like forums and stuff, and then obviously I didn't live through it, but I can imagine like analog and the birth of like all the digital mediums, which people love analog horror. It's like a whole subsection on YouTube of horror, and there's some really good like YouTube series that are like focused on analog horror, and everyone is joking that they're like gonna make creepypasta films off the back of this.
Creepypasta,
Like,
that's what I was going to mention.
People are gonna like make a Jeff the Killer film that's like such an old like, or try and do Slenderman again. To be fair, I've always
not
thought
Slenderman again.
I've always thought Slenderman was like a cool
so
concept,
bad.
but people like that film ruined it.
That's one of the worst movies ever made.
And I hate the concept as well. I think it's terrible.
I think the concept's cool. If you played it really,
so much more interesting.
If you played it straight and like dark and didn't show too much, make it minimal. But no, that film like, and like there's a real life crime based on it, so it's probably untouchable now anyway. But yeah, I feel like people are right that some worse studios are going to try and piggyback off Backrooms and start like picking stuff off YouTube and the internet.
I agree.
Which isn't great.
What I would like to see more is, I don't know, it was weird because I don't usually are drawn to like found footage. I kind of don't love that like kind of like handheld style of it. But I think that was my favorite part of this movie, and it kind of felt like Outlast. I felt like it was kind of like pulling towards that, like that kind of horror where like that thing grabs her and like drags the guy across the room with blood everywhere. I felt very video gamey in a really good way.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. There's a moment in the chase sequence, or it's in the first bit, where like the original Backrooms image is like replicated like mid chase sequence, like the alignment of the walls and everything is like it's the exact same. And I don't know, I just had a moment where it's like, oh yeah, that's the exact original image. That's like the only half Easter egg I could like point out. And I don't know, it's kind of sad that I knew, like, even though it's all the same, I could just tell that was that's what it was. But yeah, that sequence is so great.
I love the creativity because there's so many rooms to go through, and there's none that are like the same. Like the it starts like uncanny with the pile of chairs and furniture, and then the stop sign, and then like that bit with a Christmas tree where there are like statues embedded into the floor.
Oh yeah.
The little like holes and doorways is so, because he must have generated hundreds of Backrooms from these like YouTube videos as well. It's like it is an endless like creative output for him, and yeah, it's just really cool.
I think that there's interesting moments because when the guy, did anyone watch Night of the Seven Kingdoms? Ryan, did you watch it?
The Game of Thrones.
Okay, so
show?
Yeah. So the guy in that's got the crop top on, he's from that show. But there's that moment where he first takes a camera in the Backrooms and he zooms in on, it's like this tiny crack in the wall, and it's just like a door, and we just never see anything else from that.
Well, that's from the original short, like the same shot.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah.
Like a callback.
Interesting. But no, I think
I only noticed that because I watched the short after the movie.
Interesting. But I think it does well with like the found footage of this kind of sense of voyeurism as well. That I don't think a lot of these kind of first person things really take advantage of. But I thought this was quite impressive. And again, going back to that dining scene, even though it is a riff on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and that's been done so much, it is quite impressive that he managed to, I think, turn it into something that isn't just like, oh, here's like a great scene, we're just gonna like straight rip it off, but it actually has merit to it. Not that I can say for Obsession, which I know we're probably going to touch on, but which I think is the opposite of that. But yeah, I love the late 20th century stuff. It's incredible.
Well, I think there's kind of an interesting link between the two, kind of influence-wise, because like we're saying, like there's like stuff that you could say is from Lynch in here, but it's like from stuff that's been influenced by Lynch most likely, or just kind of been passed on like without him knowing. I feel like Obsession's the same, where a lot of his influences are coming from stuff within the last 10 years that have been influenced from other stuff that we recognize. I know like you've been saying like Pulse and Curse.
Cure.
What's it called? Cure, yeah, Cure. Kurosawa's stuff.
I was shocked. I know, like standing in a corner, like even Blair Witch was doing it, but I was shocked he hadn't seen that. I think he said he hadn't seen
There's
it.
no
Has
way.
he said that?
Absolutely no way. That's
Well, it's from, I think he took it from Hereditary,
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
because Ari Aster,
Yeah.
But the
which
thing,
Ari
the thing
Aster
is
is
that,
taking it from Kurosawa most
yeah,
likely.
yeah.
but the
I
thing that is, I think, is ripped straight from Kurosawa isn't necessarily the standing in the dark corner. It's like the inhuman movements that she's like does
jerky
forwards. That is Kurosawa. That is Kurosawa. And even like the in Pulse, you get like the outlines of like the red doors. You can even say that is like half in the Backrooms, like the tape and stuff like that. Pulse is the red tape. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But I think my thing with Obsession is that the highlights of that film are stuff that's not his own, and I think once that becomes the case, then I'm going to start having a problem, because it's just not original. And I think the rest of the film kind of falls flat anyway. And I think Kane is behind the camera a much more interesting filmmaker.
But do you not like Obsession?
I know, not really.
I didn't know that. I thought you liked it. Okay.
No, I was, when I first saw it, I was like kind of like in the middle, like slightly on the fence. But ever since I've seen it, I've just completely forgotten. I think it's and people have been like saying like there's so much to unpack. It's like the most obvious film of the year. There's like nothing behind the surface in
Yeah,
that film.
people are like can't like. You're looking at the very like. I don't know. From stuff I've been reading, they're missing really obvious cues from that film.
It's so obvious.
Well, yeah,
Like
that
you've got to
was brilliant.
think these people probably haven't seen as many films as we have. And to be fair, I can't really name many films with like that sort of jerky. I know you've named Kurosawa, but I feel like the like uncanny makeup was really good in that film.
Oh yeah,
And
that was great. Yeah.
Her performance in general is just, I know people are really, really hyping her up, but like it is an insanely. I've seen it twice now, and like even on second watch, I'm like, this is really impressive stuff for like
It's
for a
good.
breakout actor. It's not like Thingy in Possession good, which I've seen some people say, but it's really good. It's a really good physical performance.
Don't you just think it's kind of sad when a director tells, oh yeah, what movies do you want as a reference? So yeah, Hereditary. Like, not that the film, it's nothing to do that I don't really like the film, but like the film was made 8 years ago. I don't know.
I don't know why, but people hold that
seems
as like
sad.
a magnum opus for horror.
I know.
It is of modern horror. It's one of
I
the
know.
best.
I don't love it. Those are things. It's like confusing for me.
To be fair, it's not even the fact that I don't like it. It just like at least I at least feel something that's a bit older, that's got a bit more cultural relevance than something like Hereditary. What was I going to say? And I think between Kane and Curry, there's like, yeah, they've both come from YouTube, but I think they've come from completely different sides of YouTube. Kane doesn't. I saw a tweet that's like, Kane is not the type of guy to stick his face on a thumbnail as clickbait,
You
whereas
can-
Curry Barker is, and
can-
that is like speaks volumes for the difference in character and like the content that they'd been making, and it's, and I genuinely think it does actually make sense.
You can post videos on YouTube and not be a YouTuber. I don't think Kane's a YouTuber. I think
Yeah.
Cory Barker is a YouTuber.
I agree. In
I
that
wasn't
sense.
familiar
Kane-
with
Yeah.
Cory Barker, to be fair, before I watched it. But
Kane's more like that 2005 YouTube where like you just post stuff and you don't really know the person behind the camera,
Yeah.
which I feel like doesn't happen anymore.
I feel like that was just a platform you would obviously choose to like express your art because you're not going to get a
Yeah,
studio.
there's
paying
no other
you for it.
choice.
Yeah. But it's like a gateway to filmmaking. It'll be interesting to see if he carries his YouTube on actually, or he goes fully in the film.
When was the? Well, to be fair, he said that he hasn't made anything just because he's making this. He's been doing this film non-stop for like the last 2 years.
And now we'll have another one to do. So we'll have
Yeah.
to
Wait.
see.
Let me see. I had it. When was the Backrooms? When was?
He's not just done Backrooms. He's done that one set in the mall, and he started out doing Attack on Titan live action, which I remember watching when I was younger. That was like he made
The
that when he was
most
15.
recent Backrooms one. Oh, to be fair, it was last February. To be fair, the most recent Backrooms video, 4 minutes long. That was the last one, 12th of February. But the one before, the penultimate one, is like the longest one, the 45-minute one. When was that? Oh, that wasn't. Oh, that was 24. Okay, so he has been like making them, still doing them. But to be fair, he hasn't. Yeah, he hasn't done any in a while.
I mean, they must take a long time to like make. So I'm not surprised if he's focusing fully on films. That makes sense.
Yeah. I know they're both like sub 1 million budgets, but there is like a difference. I think where Backrooms is like a studio movie with like he's actually got like the crew of like people that have worked on several other big budget movies, and then Obsession's kind of just like I don't even know who the people that worked on that are.
It was just his
Like, they're-
like crew.
his
he knew,
guys.
I think.
Yeah.
Like it didn't get produced by Blumhouse, did it? It just got picked up.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously he had like Kane had like Osgood Perkins and Sean Levy and all of those like producing it. I could not believe it when I saw his name in credits.
We're getting a Star Wars X Backrooms crossover.
We've got a nice.
Oh no! No!
What was
no,
that? Why is he
no.
saying that?
I think McDonald's.
Someone
have-
kill that guy.
McDonald's has done a Backrooms thing, and Minions have
Wait,
just
really?
done a Backrooms thing. I think so. Not like other
Oh, the
studios,
Minions
like-
in the Backrooms is cinema.
because
Is that
anyone.
a thing?
Well, I've just seen a video on Twitter recently of like Minions promoting the film with the Backrooms.
I saw that.
Can we get like a 90-minute Backrooms movie where it's just minions speaking Minionese or
But
whatever?
But the thing,
I think it's
no one owns that. Like, it's not an intellectual property. It's just like a guy's personal 4chan, so anyone can do anything with the Backrooms. So you're probably going to see.
Wait,
a
does
lot
Ken
of
Parsons not have like any
that.
intellectual
I don't
property?
think so.
rights?
No. The characters in the film,
Like,
I'm sure
wait,
he does. But
Surely the
like,
guy from 4chan could sue A24 then.
apparently he's been.
Surely someday
Yeah.
also owns it.
Well, apparently he's been interviewed. And he's like, no, it's cool. I'm glad it's happening. Because
Oh,
let's be real. It's a one paragraph. You can't post on a forum and claim
Yeah, but surely Ken Parsons owns like the whatever he's done after that.
he will own the people involved, like the characters, I'd imagine, in
Yeah.
that film. But like anyone can just like create a blank office space and call it the Backrooms, I think.
Yeah, I guess.
Which is why like there's so many awful Roblox games, and like that wiki's got like 1,000 pages dedicated to different levels, and you've like they're trying to build lore around it. It's not very good. But yeah, Star Wars has been like destroyed by two young guys, which is cool. It's good to see. Because even if you don't
It
like,
also
even if you don't like,
it
the
also
film,
beat Star Wars in the box office, which we didn't speak about. Both
Yeah, I was
movies
about to say,
topping
both movies
Crazy.
destroyed
Mandalorian.
it.
Already A24's highest grossing film domestically, in 5 days, which is crazy.
And Obsession is going to be one of the most profitable films ever, I think.
Yeah.
Had a very rare phenomenon where it earned more like week on week for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Someone made a graph putting it next to weapons, and it like made less than weapons opening week, but then weapons goes like that, and then obsession goes like that, which is like just ridiculous. I mean, I saw it this week again, and it was an absolutely awful crowd. But anyway, it was full.
Oh, Backrooms was awful, by the way.
Was it? Okay, mine was fine.
Yeah.
Mine was full, but it wasn't too bad. My experience, well, I went with 3 friends and my brother. My brother hates horror films. I could just hear him heavily breathing like 3 seats down the entire time, just crashing out. And one of my other friends just was like a stress eating popcorn like the entire time until he ran out. And he was like leaning forward like this. They were losing it, some of them. But no, that was funny.
I've just learned that View cinemas are. It's like every other cinema is like. Well, the one I go to is like a 5% chance. I've never had a bad screen in there actually, but View is like 60-40 in like favour of it being a bad screening, and it was such a bad screening. I was happy it was a rewatch for Obsession, but people were just like out loud commentating and pointing and like laughing at because they're all funny scenes, but they were laughing at stuff that weren't funny, and it was just like, oh god, this is awful. And I've heard Backrooms had really bad screenings, mainly because like the audience that it attracts, I suppose.
Yeah, true. One thing I wanted the caveman cutout as well.
That's such cool world building. When I realised what it was for,
The voices, like it even is, it's so interesting to turn all the different languages saying the same thing, which is I think they're what was it saying like hello or something. I can't remember what it was saying.
Like it was
We
like
come
they
in
were
peace.
talking to like
it finally got
aliens.
to English,
Yeah.
but they were talking like so many different languages, and it was quite creepy. And then it kind of finally gets the real thing. But yeah, and I think it's cool that he all the kind of shot listing and like production design was done in Blender by him originally, like what he wanted. And yeah, they kind of did that first, and then kind of tailored the widths and lengths of all the hallways and stuff like that, so they could tell, which is yeah, it's cool.
Am I right in saying that some of this movie was in Blender?
Some of
Because I thought it was going in, but I couldn't really tell what was and what wasn't.
so the shot that Daniel was talking about was like going down through the levels. That was in Blender, because I know that was in the first trailer, and I think he said that was so. Yeah, it's kind of cool that like all the web series and stuff are like animated. I don't know. It's and he uses the found footage VHS to hide the animation a bit, which is quite clever.
Just guessing, because I don't know for definite. I'd guess some of it was rendered. You know, when it like stretches down forever when she's going up the stairs at the end. I'd guess some of that were rendered, and I'd also guess some of the chase sequence before that pool room was.
Yeah,
because there's like a bathroom with a face like in the wall.
yeah.
So I'd assume that's rendered in because it's like first person footage. But I don't know if the first scene was rendered. I don't think it was.
I was thinking
so
that
yeah,
could be one
like
of them,
nearly all
but I
of it
don't
was,
know. Kind of looks live action, but it could just be really good animation. I don't know.
But yeah, very much impressed.
Yeah, I don't think I've covered everything.
It is interesting where it could go. I know it kind of leaves it on like a almost episodic ending, setting it up for the sequel that's been announced. But I don't know what they're going to do with it. They could really do anything.
Probably.
True.
I can't see Renate coming back for it. Maybe she will, but I can't see it. I feel like they'll go a new direction with new characters, but like carry on maybe they'll focus on the guy in the lab. I don't know, but I feel like the lab will definitely play a big part. Yeah, Mark Duplass.
I would genuinely recommend watching the series though. It is interesting.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna sit and watch it all because it was really good from memory.
Right, that's our review on Backrooms. We're going to go into our top 5 first watches of May. Who wants to start?
So favorite watches of May. My number 5. I am going for. Let me get. There we go. John Borman's Point Blank from 1967, starring Lee Marvin. I think Daniel's seen this, haven't you?
Yeah, but like I barely remember it, so ignore whatever I've rated it.
Incredible film. Like kind of neo-noir-y, about this about this guy who was double crossed and led into prison on Alcatraz. So after he kind of gets released, he goes after revenge, but he's only looking for the money rather than wanting to kill the guy that double crossed him. It's really interesting take on this revenge genre, more about this the way capital kind of influences things, and this endless line of like businessmen and bosses, and it just keeps on going and going and going, and it kind of leads to a really, really incredible climax. But I absolutely love that. But yeah, that's my number 5.
My number 5 is Choose Me, which Oscar has seen. It's a
So
like a
good.
vibes movie. I don't know. It's really, the writing's like excellent. It's the main like love guru radio host. She's really good. She's like giving out advice, but she's never been in like a committed relationship that she's like yearning for. I'm not familiar with the director, but I don't know if you are, Oscar. Have you seen any of them?
I'm honestly surprised it's got such low logs. Like
Yeah.
all my mutuals that I have adore it. I adore it. It's everyone's cheating on each other in that film. It's so funny.
Yeah, everyone's just like kind of horrible to each other, and it's such a nice looking film. It feels like a film that should be more popular than it is, but
It is. It's got 8K logs.
8K logs.
Alan is ridiculous. Alan Rudolph. His most popular film is a film called Remember My Name.
Yeah, and it's
which
got
has
Keith
got
Carradine
only
in
10K
it.
logs.
I don't know. It feels like a film that more people should know and definitely watch it. 'Cause
I
it's
agree.
like, it's got a
It's on
criteria.
YouTube, by the way.
Yeah, that's how I watched it.
It's yeah. How it's hour and 46. It's such a good time. It's so fascinating. It's kind of, I describe it as like an anti-screwball comedy. It just keeps on going on and on with all these relationships, kind of the impermanence of love, like the person you fall in love with being different with the person that you married. Is such a gem.
Yeah, really good film.
Nice. What was that? Choose Me. Is it called?
Choose Me. Yeah.
You've got it on your watch list.
Might watch that. My number 5 is Death Game, which is this like really ridiculously sleazy 70s movie, which is, have you seen Knock Knock, the Eli Roth movie?
I know
Keanu
what it
Reeves.
is.
Yeah, that is a remake of this. And I expected it to be like really tame compared to that because it was in the 70s. Not the 70s isn't like crude or anything, but like I just didn't expect them to go that far, and it is really quite as sleazy as that. I don't know. It's it's a very interesting movie to say the least. I think you would really like it. It was a good watch party movie. That would be a great like all nighter movie pick. I'd say that's kind of like genre of movie I'd put this in. Yeah, a movie that respects women a lot, and it's a really low budget movie from the 70s. You should check it out. That's my number 5.
Interesting. My number 4, I have gone for Ryusuke Hamaguchi's Osaka 1 and 2 from 2018. I've been taking off a few more of his films because I'd only seen Drive My Car and Evil Does Not Exist before last month, kind of going into all of a sudden this year, which I am so excited for. Probably my most anticipated film for the rest of the year. Cannot wait for it. This, yeah, I thought this film was incredible. He only makes really good stuff. I think he's an absolute master. So this film is about a girl who kind of falls in love with this guy, and then one day he suddenly disappears, and like a couple of years later, a guy like comes back into her life who looks exactly like the guy who ran away, but isn't. The same guy. It's really interesting. Some devastating blank stares in this film. It's a film about kind of self-actualization, like coming to terms with yourself being nearly impossible. And I find it so captivating. It's a really stunning film. I know, Daniel, you said you'd been meaning to watch it, but I would highly recommend it. And I need to tick off some more of his stuff because I watched some of his short films as well. One of his shorter ones actually, which I thought was really good too. But yeah, he is one of the best working directors right now.
My 4 is one I've got 2 actually. Did a film marathon last week at the Prince Charles Cinema, and there was a couple of good picks. This one is Come Back to the Five and Dime, Jimmy Dean by Altman, one of his lesser known ones. Very brutal pick for a 5 a.m. film because it's a 1 location, 2 hour just dialogue fest, and quite strange subject matter because they're a Jimmy Dean fan club, and one woman has like this psychosis that she's raised Jimmy Dean's son, which isn't true. Cher's in it randomly. I thought she was only Moonstruck, but no, apparently she's in this. But interestingly, it's like a film from, I want to say, the 80s or 90s. I can't remember. Oh, it's early 80s. From the early 80s, and it's the main like conflicts of the film is a character that's transitioned to female. So I feel like I can't obviously comment on it completely, but I feel like it's quite a tender, well written way for the time to explore that character. And obviously, it being the 80s, there's some stuff that's a little bit like a bit strange today, but no, it was really well written. I love like films that are sort of like stage plays. A lot of people in the cinema didn't appreciate that, but Altman continues to like just at a baseline hit out 4s no matter what subject matter he does, and he's such a versatile director because we watched that like bird film recently, me and Ryan, Brewster McCloud, I think it's called, and that was really odd. Nothing like this film. Yeah, I don't know. He continues to impress me as a director. It's a good film.
Yeah, he's got a lot of weirdly obscure movies.
Yeah, he's got a massive filmography.
Yeah. My number 4 is one that is definitely not obscure. It is one of the bigger classics, I guess, I hadn't seen. I was continuing my William Wyler watch. So I got to Roman Holiday, which is one of his earlier movies in the 50s, starring Audrey Hepburn and Gregory Peck, which they're both just incredible in this. I think this is Audrey Hepburn's, I think it might be the first movie she's in, and she got I can't remember if she either got a nomination or won for this. This is a really fun rom-com, I guess I'd classify as, but really well shot in black and white. It's kind of got like the bits of the iconography of La Dolce Vita. I mean, it's before that, but it's like they're basically spending the day in Rome. So they go to like the fountain and places like that. So it reminded me of that movie. It's the only really other movie I've seen that like really captures how beautiful that city is in that kind of similar way. I think this was a great movie. One of his best, I think. I'd seen some of Audrey Hepburn's like later stuff, but I think this was like one of the few movies I've seen where she was like, I guess, in her prime, other than like Sabrina and stuff like that, which is also great.
Nice. For my number 3, I am going to go for Brian De Palma's Femme Fatale, one of his best films, and that's saying something. It's just so nuts. I know Ryan is. Do you have this lower in his filmography?
Well, I've seen all of his movies, so I think I've got it like mid tier.
Seems crazy.
It's not my
nearly
favorite
all
De
of his
Palma.
movies. That seems crazy to me. It just has everything, like and even more. It's nuts. This this film opens on like a diamond heist in the middle of the Cannes Film Festival. But not only is it that, but it opens on like the way. The way the diamond heist works is that this woman is like wearing the diamonds, and it's like a very revealing outfit in a sense, and it's not covering much. And like someone has to have like sex with her and at the same time they're having sex, like taking the diamonds off and replacing them with fake diamonds. It's like one of the craziest, coolest openings to a film I've ever seen. And yeah, I won't spoil anything, but it's wild. It's very De Palma, and kind of crazy twists and turns. And I was just so over my head, obsessed, and in with everything that was happening in here. And yeah, one of the best things he's ever done. You've got the typical voyeurism stuff in here, like more metatextual than I think he's ever been. In regards to that, there's so many layers to this film. It's quite ridiculous, but I think it is truly incredible. And that would be such a good all-nighter pick. That would be spectacular.
Yeah, you could say that about most of his movies.
True.
Yeah, my next film was an all-nighter pick, and it was definitely the best one they picked. Jonathan Demme's Last Embrace, one of his obscure ones. It's got about 7K logs. Roy Scheider, there, I really like him. And this is Christopher Walken's in it very, very briefly for like 5 minutes, and people were losing it because he's like, the physicality he's doing with his face, like the face he's pulling, is definitely trying to be like intentionally funny. It's not listed as a comedy, but it's like a Hitchcock film with a really dry sense of humor. The back and forth between like the romantic chemistry between the Roy Scheider and the love interest is really strong. And like I said, if you like Hitchcock, it's quite a fun play on it.
What year is it?
Like
sorry?
1979. I want to say that it's like kind of so bad it's good because the main premise is so ridiculous, and I won't spoil how it ends, but the ending is just like so bizarre. Like the way the stakes keep increasing. But yeah, it's one of them films where you're like, what the hell is going on? You just keep saying it. It's a really good film, and it is like his own Hitchcock film. It's so similar to a Hitchcock, like noir mystery. It's really good.
Jonathan Demme is one of those weird directors where like you hear so much about him, but like it's like the only thing I've ever seen is Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, and Stop Making Sense is like
Oh,
obviously
the Manchurian Candidate remake is incredible. Come on.
Philadelphia
That's
is good.
so
That's
good.
a really popular film. But yeah, he's not like made a lot of big films.
My number 3 is another William Wyler movie. That was a lot of my favourites from last month, just because I was getting deep into his filmography. But it's The Big Country, another Gregory Peck movie. This one is a western shot in '65, and you get some beautiful landscape shots where he's just like using all the frame to a beautiful extent. And it's basically like a Gregory Peck like goes to marry this girl that he's met in a different city, and he goes back to like her kind of like home country where there's a conflict between two different basically like parts of the country, I guess. And he's kind of falling in between that as being like the neutral between the two rival kind of like families. One of the it's obviously one of the better westerns from that era that I've seen. I think Oscar you would really, really like that one.
What's it called?
The Big Country.
The Big Country. Let me have a look.
Yeah. It's a really good looking western.
There's so many. You need to watch Johnny Guitar and you need to watch Canyon Passage. I can't believe you haven't watched.
I do. There's a lot. There's a lot of
Yeah.
westerns I need to watch. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, that's my number 3.
Oh, it's on Prime. Ooh, nice. 1958. Okay, I've added that to the old watch list. Right, my number 2. I have gone for. I think I can confidently say this is probably my favorite animated film ever, and one of the greatest sequels ever made. I've gone for Ghost in the Shell 2: Innocence, which I did recently bump up to a 5-star when I was making that silly top 100 list, because I just continue to realize how much I adore it. It is remarkable. I think it's probably the bravest sequel ever made. It's a film that completely turns the original on its head from like narratively and even like formally. It's a film that combines both 2D and 3D animation, and it uses that. It uses its form as a part of its narrative. There's this real clash of styles going on, and the landscape that the film is in, and it's an anime cyberpunk noir. It's like a detective story that is quite far departed from the original. Like the actual ghost in the shell is hardly in the film. And I know Daniel's not a massive fan of the first one, and he hasn't seen this one. But I know quite a few people who do not like the first one, but absolutely love this one. I think it's way better than the first, so I would absolutely recommend it to check it out. It's so cool. It's stunning. It's such a fascinating film to me. But yeah, Ghost in the Shell 2: Innocence, very much worth the watch and extremely underrated. I hardly hear anyone talk about it. How many logs does it have? 70k logs. Yeah, it is. Maybe many people don't even know that there's an actual film sequel. But yeah,
I'd never heard
so
of it
good.
until you mentioned it in the Akira podcast.
Yeah.
Am I right
it's
in
crazy.
saying that aren't they not remaking, but they're doing like a more faithful adaptation of the original
Series
source
remake,
material? Yeah.
They're doing like an original, like they're making it look like it came out in the 80s, the way they're animating it, and it looks amazing.
Interesting.
Yeah, you can find the trailer on YouTube. It looks like they've plucked it out like the 80s and 90s, the way they've animated it. It's really good looking. I'm probably going to end up watching it. But yeah, my 2 is A Bittersweet Life by Kim Ji-woon, who did I Saw the Devil, which I haven't seen yet. That's quite a big one.
Cobweb we watched as well,
Cobweb.
didn't we?
Cobweb's good.
Yeah.
The good Cobweb from that year, not
The good Cobweb.
Oh yeah,
Anthony Starr one.
not the bad Cobweb.
He has a few films I need to see. I want to watch The Good, the Bad, and the Weird as well. But A Bittersweet Life is a really stylish, not quite John Woo. It feels more like a bit more like, well, he gets buried alive, which reminds me of like Kill Bill. But like, it's that sort of guys where the action becomes really exaggerated. He's not quite like doing backflips and stuff, but he does have that Hong Kong thing, like in a Korean film where he never has to reload really, and then the ending's like this mass shootout, really bright, vibrant reds at night, really like it feels sort of like you're watching a comic book film with like the way it's written, but there's like a central romance conflict in the middle that's really like maturely written. It's quite a simple revenge tale, but the way it's shot is so stylish. Like the rain looks amazing, and this guy goes through like hell, but is just a character completely driven, mad by revenge. Reminded me of King of New York a little bit with some of the like shots and the reflections. Yeah, really good film. If you like Korean like crime films or any sort of Asian crime film, it's a good watch.
Nice. What did you give that before?
yeah.
Nice. My number 2 is a movie that Daniel has at like. Do you have a sort of like half a star, 1 star, or something? Escape from New York by John
Oh,
Carpenter.
I hate that film. Yeah, I hate
Oh,
it.
how do you hate that?
That's
It's so good.
outrageous, man. It's so good. Like the first half of this is, I'd say this is some of the best of Carpenter's work. Dean Cundey, oh my god, Dean Cundey, what a god! It is the lighting in this movie is insane. I think the only thing that holds this back slightly from being like an all-timer is like I don't think there's any like crazy like action set pieces. Like as an action movie, I don't think it's like got any all-timer moments, but I feel like the mood and just like the premise of this, like the New York being like a prison, is just like so insanely good. The sequel kind of is probably Carpenter's worst that I've seen. That one
What's the
also doesn't
sequel?
have
LA,
Dean Cundey
isn't
shooting
it?
it. Yeah, Escape from LA. It's like notoriously bad CGI. Because it's like LA's been like hit by like tsunamis, and there's a scene when Kurt Russell like rides a tsunami. So this one's definitely the better of the two. And Zack Snyder just announced that he will be pissing on
Remaking.
Carpenter's like movie, remaking it.
That's quite funny.
Oh. It also has Lee Van Cleef, which is like the only time I've ever seen him outside of a
yeah.
western, which is like the cast is
that's
crazy
so
in this
good.
one. Yeah.
That's such a
Donald
weird
Pleasance
thing.
is he's the president in this one, isn't he? Yeah, he is. He's
Mm,
so funny.
he's such a
It's like
good
right
actor.
after Halloween, so it's like Donald Pleasance is like prime, and it's like there's no funnier actor than Donald Pleasance like shouting in his like really deep, snazzily voice. Yeah, Harry Dean Stanton's in this as well. It's like a quick, I don't know if I'd call it a cameo. It's more like a supporting role in it. But yeah, the cast is crazy. It's one of Carpenter's best, and I can't believe that Daniel has this at 1 star as a.
I hate it so much. I can't stand it.
Insane. Why? What is it? What is it?
Oh, it's like some action films I just can't do it. It's like the aesthetic of it annoys me. The characters annoy me. I think he's such a lame main character.
And I know why you don't like it.
It's just rubbish.
Because we were going to watch party it, and my internet went down, and you were so upset that I was gone that it ruined.
I was quite upset. I was quite upset at that,
Yeah.
but I didn't really want to watch it in the first place, which
That's
helped.
quite funny.
Yeah, no, but no, not, I didn't like it. Sorry.
That is quite funny. But for my number 1 pick and my favorite thing I watched in the month of May is Tsai Ming Liang's Viva l'Amour. I've seen 4 of Tsai's films. The others being The Hole, Goodbye Dragon Inn, and Rebels of the Neon God. 3 of them I have at 5 stars. I still can't believe you guys watch Party Goodbye Dragon Inn. That's like, please just rewatch it. It's,
I didn't. I was
it's
not there
one
for
of
that.
the greatest films ever made. It blows my mind. That film was like no dialogue in at all.
It's
Yeah.
like watch Castle.
That's like the anti-watch party movie of all the anti-watch party movies. Anyway, Viva l'Amour. Kind of, I think, I never really asked people this question, but like as film movements go, I think Taiwanese New Wave is probably my favorite. Pioneered by Tsai and Edward Yang, is like endless masterpieces in my opinion. So this follows 3 lonely young people who unknowingly share an apartment. There's the woman who's a real estate agent, and she like uses it for her sexual affairs. And there's one guy who's like the current lover, and another guy who stole the keys to the apartment and used it as a retreat place. It's really sad though.
Kind of sounds like an Edward Young like plot.
Yeah, less so in that sense. Psy is more into the slow cinema. Like the first bit of dialogue doesn't drop until like 20 minutes into this film. Um, a lot, yeah, like I said, a lot less dialogue than someone like Yang. There's this. I think but I think the most impressive thing about the film is the half the reason people do speak is because of business, and I think it's down to the fact that this kind of business and like real estate thing that she's doing in the film, it demands dialogue, and that love doesn't really. um and uh and even when there are sex scenes, they take place in the apartment, which like none of them really own, and it's like there's a severe lack of visual ownership. Everything is really stripped down and bare, the environment, and we kind of move into the latter stage of the film, it just becomes a lot sadder, and there's bits on kind of one of the characters being queer in a sense, and cross-dressing moments, but yeah, unbelievable film. One of my favorite directors, and there's a couple more things he hasn't. I don't think he's done a ton of stuff, but I would recommend any of his work. But yeah, Vive l'Amour was the best thing I watched last month.
Best thing I watched was Jeremiah Johnson, Robert Redford, and Sidney Pollack directed it. It's a western about like the relationship between, in a minimal way, if you just say it in one sentence, it's the relationship between cowboys and Indians, but it's more about this lone settler who eventually, through these circumstances and his like driven to survival, he like develops his own family from his encounters with the Indians. But there's like a mutual respect between them, even though they're constantly at conflict with each other. They've both got their own way of life and culture, and they're just trying to survive in the same environment. That one will instigate and then the other instigates back. So there's like a general level of distrust between the two groups. And it's quite a fun character journey because he meets a character early on in the film who you think is like crazy, and he slowly starts to like morph into that same character. Towards the end, he's like a completely different person. It's quite a melancholic western, and it's set in like really harsh snowy conditions, which was fun. That's different to like the standard western, deserts.
It's always cool.
It's definitely worth a watch. Very good. If you like westerns, you'll like this, and it's not. I watched Searchers recently, and that's about conflicts with the Indians, but that felt much more the standard sort of story you'd see. It was a good story, but sort of the standard relationship as how films depict it, whereas this felt a little bit more nuanced. And it's where that famous nodding gif for the guy who looks like Zach Galifianakis, but it's actually Robert Redford.
I still can't believe that.
I know.
It actually does look exactly like him.
So pretty much everyone will have seen a clip from this film.
Yeah. That you bring up the Searchers, like it just reminded me. I did see that in 70mm this month. And I also seen Mulholland Drive and a double feature of AI and Close Encounters. So it was a good one for rewatches in the cinema.
Lucky.
But my favourite first watch was Ben-Hur, which was, as far as I've gotten my William Wyler again watch through, this was the big one because it's like Roman Holidays maybe is more popular watched movie, I think, on Letterboxd, but this one's like his best picture win. He's won it like twice. But this is like one of the big epics of that old Hollywood era. I think it was the biggest budget movie that they'd ever done at that time. Crazy production. This is like a real epic. This is really what I'd hope the Odyssey is like, at least. I know Nolan's also going to do his own thing. But this is what I hope, at least, that it's kind of leaning towards more than we've seen stylistically. because it kind of has that like Nolan palette, but there's also a lot of color in it. I wish we'd go back to stuff like this. There's just like a. Speaking of action set pieces, I was saying like the Escape from New York doesn't have an all-timer set piece. This is like got one of the all-time action set pieces because there's like a whole kind of like chariots race in this movie, which they just build this crazy set and race horses round, which I was so surprised that they didn't have like multiple stuntman deaths and horse deaths in this. They somehow done the whole thing without even injuring a horse, which is a huge feat compared to I think it was in the 20s they originally done a Ben-Hur movie because it's like a remake, which William Wyler was like a camera operator or something on. He was in the crew somehow in like the original silent movie, but they killed over 100 horses shooting that movie. So it was good to see that they at least tried to not abuse animals even in the 50s in the remake. But yeah, that's honestly one of the craziest set pieces, not from that era, just I've ever seen. That is one of the real epics that you need to watch. That was probably one of the biggest blind spots I had like in any movie that was out. Yeah, obviously inspired. Inspired Lawrence of Arabia. So it's kind of in that kind of stretch of like epics like that. I was a bit scared that it was going to be like a kind of like religious epic because it begins in like Jesus' birth and stuff. I was a bit worried it was going to be one of those like really boring like long epics that you see on like BBC Two and a rerun at like Christmas morning, but it gets a lot better than that. Yeah,
Interesting. Yeah, I think it's one of my biggest blind spots too.
Yeah, you should watch it. Won 11 Oscars, which is
damn. Did it win? I'm assuming it won Best Picture.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was kind of by far the biggest winner because like, I think a couple of the other movies around then that have like the tons of Oscars, they have like dodgy Oscars where it's like they'll give someone like a lifetime Oscar and it'll count like towards the tally. This is all like the usual Oscar categories, you know. But yeah, great movie. Is that all of our watches?
I think so.
Great. So that is what we watched in May. Let us know what your favourite first watch of last month was and what you thought of Backrooms and possibly Obsession as well. And we'll be back next for Disclosure Day. The Searchers.
No, we'll do Disclosure Day.
Whichever's first. I mean, yeah.
Possibly The Searchers.
We'll do The Searchers one day.